This week will mark the last week that I play my free-to-play Lord of the Rings Heroes of Middle-earth account competitively. I'll still be playing my main account, so don't think you're getting rid of me. For those who don't know, I made this account the week glyphs were introduced to the game in early December 2023, with the idea to showcase how you can use my free-to-play farming guide to efficiently unlock Elrond at 5 stars and kickstart your raid performance. While I had hoped to continue playing this account and potentially go for a free-to-play 5-star Thorin Oakenshield unlock as well, with the uncertainty around the future of the game, I feel that we've hit a good stopping. Today, I want to highlight a few things that tie into my free-to-play farming guide so that you can see how the guide is backed up by actual testing in-game. I'm always going to focus my content towards helping new players, and I hope the following discussion will be helpful for those of you who have relatively new accounts. As always, if you'd like a free copy of my farming guide, head over to the Discord using the link in this video's description. I had originally considered making this video a bit longer and having you sort of follow me through a day in the life, doing all of my daily objectives, but I think a lot of those things are already covered in my farming guide video, which you can find on one of my playlists on the channel. I really just want to give you 3 main takeaways for what we've done with this account. So the first thing is the daily challenges. Now, in general, with these challenges, if you follow my light and shadow campaign recommendations, you should have the bones to do tier 5 and really tier 6 on all of these pretty easily. There are some efficiencies that you'll notice as we cycle through these. So Dark Relics allows you to use orcs or elves. You're most likely going to finish this one off with your elf team, and as you can see, I've got tier 5 done. Tier 6 I would have been able to do once I hit level 60. For Forest in the Deep, you have to use humans or goblins. Now it's going to be difficult for you to use goblins as a free-to-play player since Great Goblin is not on a farmable node and you have to spend gems on him. But you can use some humans that, like your Rohan trio and your Haradrim folks. There's Strider. There's going to be a few different humans that you'll be able to use here. And this one wasn't too difficult for us to get done. It was definitely the hardest of the 6 challenges using my free-to-play farming guide, but you can get it done. As you can see here, we have this one 3-starred, and we're getting the 4 Luminous Crystal 2 per sim. Treasure Trove is one of the easier challenges to finish because you can use any light character, so you're able to use essentially the same lineup that you use for the Dark Relics challenge, all of your elves that you've focused on putting a lot of time and effort into. So you can see that I have tier 6 done on this one, pretty simple, and that's going to give you 120,000 gold every time this one comes around. Lost Artifacts is a little more difficult. It's not quite as hard as Forged in the Deep, but you're going to have access to several tank and healer characters such as Naramiri, Ugluk, Naraz if you've built Naraz, Wubete you're probably going to have built. I believe Ironhide is also a tank, so this one should be relatively easy for you. Wondrous Abilities is actually one of the easier challenges that I've found, especially since you're going to have your Elrohir built up, you're going to have Legolas built up. It's just really going to be one of the ones you struggle the least with, and that's great because you're going to be getting 33 rare ability materials, purples as we call them, and that is the biggest bottleneck in the game even for Wells. Pretty simple one here. And then finally, battle experience. That's going to be all shadow characters, and again, if you're following the free-to-play farming guide, you're focusing pretty heavily on 5 to 6 shadow characters, and you shouldn't have any issues with getting this one done. Again, it's another great challenge for free-to-play players because experience is a huge bottleneck, and you're going to be able to get 18,000 experience for this one. So that's really it for challenges. The next thing I want to talk about is the Eladin node. Now, I was able to get the Eladin node relatively easy. Went into the wrong one. So you can see I have 3-starred the Eladin node, and I did this with a team that had only 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star characters. If you would like to see what I was able to come up with for the Eladin node, and then also what people have been able to come up with for the Arwen node, you can go to my Discord, and we actually have a chat channel that is completely dedicated to Arwen and Eladin setups. We can take a look at my light side characters and just quickly discuss these. So sort by power. You can see that I've focused a lot on Legolas, Elrohir, and Naramiri because those are characters that are very easy to obtain shards for over time. Legolas through the Arena Store, Elrohir and Naramiri through the Guild campaign. And I was working on getting Elrohir to 6-star to try to finish off the Eladin node before we were able to get it done. Anyway, I did get Arwen for free at 3 stars when I started the account. So I took her up pretty high. I don't have her node unlocked yet, but the beauty of it here is if we had have continued to play this account, we would get Elrond unlocked at 5 stars. And even though we might not have the Arwen node unlocked yet, or we might not have a lot of her shards even if we did get it unlocked, we're still able to immediately plug her into that team. And she is a vital part of your success with Lord Elrond's team. So I just wanted to point that out. Had I been given the Great Goblin shards as my starter 7-day login reward instead of Arwen, it would have probably made it more important for me to go after Arwen's node quickly, but instead I decided that I could kind of get the Eladin node unlocked and sort of slow play the Arwen node. So my 5 elves for Lord Elrond were going to be Legolas, Elrohir, Naramiri, Eladin, which I was getting pretty close to, and Lomian. One thing I want to point out with the Eladin piece is you can see that I'm only getting close to 4 stars, but the plan would have been typically you're going to get those marquee events to roll back around before the Elrond event starts, and you're able to get 100 shards if you haven't done the marquee event yet for free. So all I would need to do is get Eladin to 4-star and then get about 30 shards in addition to that, and then we would guarantee that we're going to have that 5-star character. And then you can see Lomian. I had some work to do on him, but we're getting close to 5 stars. So that's it for the Eladin node and for kind of the Lord Elrond unlock side of things. If we go over to the Shadow side, I've got a couple of points I want to make here for the Arwen node. So my free-to-play farming guide recommends that you go for the Isengard trio, which is Ugluk, Dunhar, and Mauhir, and then Ironhide as a 4th for your early campaign nodes, all the way up to Shadow Hard 5-3, which is the node where they grant you a really terrible Ironhide and you're not able to use yours. So the recommendation in my farming guide up to this point has been to invest in Nuraz and Wubete as your 5th and your sort of 5.5, the character that you're going to have to use to replace Ironhide on that one node. What I have found in my testing so far is I'm unable to do the 5-3 node with what I have currently. I'm getting closer, and I do think that Wubete going to 4 stars, Dunhar going to 4 stars is going to help. I've started questioning whether Nuraz would be the best 5th for that node. I still think Nuraz is an incredible character, great to use in the raids, but a lot of the utility of having Nuraz is the ability to call the summon, the troll, and you're not able to do that here. So the defensives are great. I believe the weaken on the basic is great. The cleanse is great, but I think you would be better suited using a character like Bekelu, which is available in the guild campaign. And I think Bekelu would probably get you the Arwen unlock a lot faster, primarily because she has one of the best basics in the game, if not the best basic in the game, because she's able to inflict poison, and if you're able to max that ability out, it's definitely one of the best moves to use against the cave troll in chapter 2 of the raid. But I also think that you would find a lot of use for it in the campaign nodes as well. So that's kind of one of the main things I want to say about the R1 node. It's unfortunate that I was not able to get that done as part of this free to play account, but I believe I've set in motion, or I've kind of come to some conclusions that will help me make that free to play farming guide better next time. And one of those is definitely adding Bekelu as a recommendation for the Shadow campaign. I suppose a bonus comment that I can make to close the video out is, if I was going to be able to go for Thorin on this account, I wanted to go ahead and get all of the Goblin nodes unlocked, which you're able to do as part of your process for getting to the R1 node. So there's sort of some efficiencies there. And this Goblin lineup that you can see on screen, it has actually been quite useful in the raid, just to get to kind of a fifth team that's able to score 100,000 or better in most of the raid chapters except for chapter 4. So it's been nice to kind of build this team up a little bit and get it going in the right direction. You can see we have Great Goblin at 3 stars, but there's no way to farm him at all without using gems, and this account is just not developed enough to get decent gem income. The hope had been that CG was going to come back and they were going to put Great Goblin on a node, and then you could sort of decide to, okay, well, I have my Lord Elrond ready for 5 stars. I'm going to pivot to goblins, and there was sort of the potential that maybe within a couple of months I would be able to get Thorin unlocked. Definitely one of the things that I wanted to get done, that I can always revisit it, and I have sort of the bones to get it going. I just wanted to sort of do a postmortem on what I was able to get done with this account. I'm certainly going to be using some of my findings here to help elevate the free-to-play farming guide. Actually, we didn't talk about it, but I did a little bit of testing on, whether it would make sense to go after some dwarves to get your account started as well. I don't think that it's viable to try to go after Bifur and Lord Balin right now to start your light campaign. I think it's better just to go after those elves. But it's certainly something we would want to look at in the future if the game continues to be developed. As always, I appreciate you watching and hope you'll stay tuned for some team guides coming up in the future. Quantum out.